Up 16 midway through the third quarter. What flipped after that?
Well, they turned up their defense, and we needed to respond and get a couple hoops, and we just couldn't get anything to go. And so the way they closed that quarter, I don't know if it was 16-0 run or whatever it was, but it just changed all the momentum that we had built throughout the game, and so they went into the fourth quarter with all the momentum, and so that was a turning point, obviously. But our guys played great, and really competed, moved the ball, did everything possible to win the game, and it's too bad we couldn't kind of finish it off, but proud of the guys for the effort.
This is obviously like a checkpoint of the season right here going into the break. So much has happened over the first few months. How would you just kind of sum up what has been and where you feel like y'all are at 29 and 26?
Well, you just said it. I mean, a lot has happened with Jimmy's injury and the trade, and we've got a chance to get recharged here over the break and come back, and we've got plenty to play for. So obviously we'll have to incorporate Kristaps, get Steph back, and we feel like we can be a really good team, and I think our guys are showing why with the way they're competing and moving the ball and playing together.
I was going to ask you about both of them. Where do you feel like they're at, with this week ahead?
Kristaps played today and was moving better than yesterday, and seemed to be in a good rhythm. I didn't see it, but the development coaches, I think it was half court, still half court, but I believe it was fives, half court. And they said he looked good, and so we'll just see how it plays out.
What are you hearing on Steph? Like, what's Rick?
I talked to Steph earlier, and he said he was feeling better, so he's trending in a good direction, but it'll be just day to day when he comes back.
Steve, you mentioned it a couple times. You just mentioned it there to start. The group's really playing hard. How are you going to define success in the second half, given, as you've also mentioned, the expectations for the group have changed because of all the things that have happened?
I think as a coach, you just, that's all you want to see is, competition, energy and execution. And so that's, if we can accomplish those things, then I think we'll be successful. And, we feel good about, adding Kristaps gives us another dimension. And obviously getting Steph back will change everything. But, success will come if we continue the process we've been showing.
Steve, we saw what Draymond did against the Spurs a few months ago in San Antonio. Did you feel like he leveled up a little bit tonight against Victor Wembanyama with his near triple-double?
Leveled up meaning what?
Just his level of play tonight and everything, his extra competitive and fire.
Draymond was incredible. This is when he's at his best with, the biggest challenges. He's such a great defender, one of the all-time greats, and guarding a guy like Victor, gives him a challenge that he relishes, and I think it really raises his offensive game as well. Draymond played a fantastic game tonight.
Moses had a lot of good off-ball movement, a lot of good shots off of movement. What have you kind of seen from him as of late? I think 14 of his last 15 games in double figures. Yeah,
he's just found a good rhythm shooting the ball. He had a stretch there where he was cold, but we know what kind of shooter he is, and that stuff always evens out. So he's just in a good groove, and he's there for us every night. Just, he's so steady. That's what we love about Mo. He's there for us every night and competes and guards the best guys, and really, really good player for us.
What kind of went awry there in that third quarter after you guys take the 16-point lead and then the Spurs coming back, roaring back?
Yeah, just got a little bit stagnant offensively. They started getting some stops and running, and put them on the free throw line probably a couple too many times. It just felt like we got a little bit stagnant offensively. Just couldn't find a rhythm. They dropped into that zone, threw us off a little bit. Just could never get it going from there.
You guys have gone through a ton lately, starting with obviously the Jimmy injury, won some, bigger games. Now heading into the break, how would you categorize where this team's at heading into the break?
Yeah, I mean, I think for us it's just about getting healthy. Totally different ball club when you have number 30 out there and the new addition in KP. So I think for us we're excited about having a little break. We're a little bit on the older side of the team, so to give a couple guys some rest, get healthy, and come back, I think we're pretty excited about what it's going to look like as a collective group.
How has Kristaps kind of ingrained himself into this locker room so far? What have been your first impressions of him?
Yeah, great dude. Super easy to talk to, outgoing. Outside looking in, I always thought he was kind of a quiet guy, pretty reserved, but just super easy to talk to. Good dude, been around for a long time.
Just that the All-Star break feels like kind of a natural inflection point of the season. How would you reflect on your season so far?
Me personally, ups and downs. I think that comes with the season, at the end of the day. But biggest thing for me is just trying to figure out how to get better and trying to figure out, ways defenses are covering me, especially without 30 out there, feeling, the primary defender on me and stuff like that, and just figuring out ways to also be effective, but also be effective from, my teammates and stuff like that too. So, just gotta keep figuring it out. That's all it is.
What do you think flipped in the game, in the second half today?
Man, they got like 4 layups in a row at one point, and then fouls. I think we got to cut down on those. I think that's been our biggest Achilles heels of the whole season, just fouls. I think timely fouls is the biggest thing. But down that stretch when they kind of went on the run was just a lot of layups, high percentage shots that we shouldn't be giving up.
Mel, with everything this team's been through recently, the Jimmy's injury, trade deadline, all of that, kind of where would you say this team is at going into the All-Star break?
We're at 29 and 26. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, we feel like we lost some games we should have won. Sometimes we feel like, some bad bounces out there, some bad calls or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, none of that stuff matters no more. Once that win or loss goes into the column, I mean, that's all you can do. So I think the biggest thing is just reflecting on where we can get better, what we can do. And we know we're still a great team. We know we can beat pretty much any team. So we just got to figure those things out and just, stay more dialed in.
What do you think Porzingis can do for this team if he's, healthy and right?
Man, Kristaps can do so much. I mean, he's a matchup nightmare for, a lot of teams. I mean, you see with the Spurs, I mean, they have Wemby, who's 7 a lot, and the stuff he can do and the matchup nightmares he brings to the table. So I think him having out there is going to give us a lot of size and a lot of, mismatches that we need. And, some teams he's going to kill just because they can't, physically match up with him. And I think that's the stuff we need. And, having 30 come back and just the floor space and having somebody 7 feet, over 7 feet that can really shoot the ball and he can still put the ball on the floor and make good decisions that is going to be huge for us.
With 27 games after this All-Star break left in the season, how do you kind of use this All-Star break to rejuvenate yourself and get right for that?
Man, just like you said, rejuvenate. I think everybody in this locker room has been working real hard. We've had 3 different teams this year. Some guys have had, some bigger roles and had to step up when, they at least expected it sometimes. But I think going into All-Star break, I was telling guys just to, recoup yourself, clear your mind, and just figure it out. For me, I'm going to go back home, just, continue to work out, continue to work on my body because, coming back from All-Star, I want to hit the ground running and just, make sure I can capitalize on as much time as I can.